Demonic Angel. Um, just back with a little research update video. I haven't really done that too much before, but I figure, I really am interested in history, anthropology, sociology, these kinds of, social sciences, but I'm also, into magic and the occult. So, those things are, it seems like people think, oh, well, there's the historian and then there's the psychic. And maybe you could be a little bit of both. I think that I kind of am. So I'm just presenting these locations as I actually experienced it. And if I know information about it ahead of time, because I'm only picking places that I know kind of surface level stuff about, not something that if I knew the whole history just wouldn't be really appropriate because I would, already know too much about it. But yeah, it's just kind of like just putting it out there. And it would be really interesting to see if somebody else has been to these locations and, had any kinds of similar experiences, or if you want to talk about your haunted hometown or a location you've been, that would be awesome. But I figured that would be, I'll be doing some of these, especially for, as we approach Halloween. So with the Pioneer Hotel in Tucson, Arizona, and I did go there a really long time ago, and a guy took me through the building. It was obvious to me at the time that some of those floors were used for businesses, because they had like lawyer signs and these kinds of offices. But the upper floors, I guess they obviously have just been vacant because it's not been used as a hotel in a long time. They did try to keep it going as a hotel after the fire, but after a tragedy like that, and downtown Tucson as a whole really I guess lost its luster and especially attraction for the affluent. They were going to the Grand Canyon and that kind of, the bigger attraction in Arizona. But yeah, so it was really interesting that was, so I thought, my impression was that the upper floors were maybe still used as a hotel. Didn't think too much into it, but I knew obviously that going through that some of them were offices. Now the interesting thing about my research is, so I do want to say that I guess 3 people did jump to their deaths to escape the fire. I said I didn't really get much of a feeling about that, but this was this is a really residual energy, so I'm not gonna get every little detail. I just obviously picked up on that wasn't the big event for what was going on, because obviously if it was some kind of taller structure, maybe there would have been more of that, or if a different time of day kind of a situation. But what was really interesting is that I said, because I didn't know, I said that there was that aspect of the fire where people were putting towels under the doors and talking out in the hallway, but they weren't really panicking, even though there clearly was the fire and the heat coming up the stairs. So I was just thought, oh, that's really strange, because usually I've been to many locations, and when there's been a fire like that, for me there's usually a bigger sense of panic and a rush of we've got to get out of here. But that was that scene I saw, that residual energy. And throughout the fire, the electricity in the building remained on the entire time. So this happened in the middle of the night, 5 days before Christmas in 1970. And the whole time that there was this fire, the electricity stayed on. And if you think about it, some people, they would be, having their heaters still, they're reading lights, electricity in the bathroom while they're taking a bath, any of these kinds of things. Just the fact that, let's say people are sleeping and they've got their comfy heater on because it's, Tucson's a little cooler than, say, Phoenix, Central Arizona, and Flagstaff, it snows, but Tucson, it doesn't snow too often, but it's considerably cooler. So, a heater would have lulled a lot of people to sleep, and I think if the electricity would have went out, people would have woke up and felt, cold from the electricity, or just that whole, when the electricity goes off and, there's that lack of white noise from, the refrigerator running, or a fan running, or any number of things like that. It cuts that white noise out, and that kind of really alerts people. So because that was still present, that's what I really believe I picked up on, was that people they really weren't in this big rush because of that reason. So that's really interesting. I truly had no idea about it. It's just, and also, I guess the only other finding really would be that the woman that I was seeing, who I thought she looked like she was older, in a suit, pantsuit. The original, the actual owners, they lived in like a penthouse on one of the upper floors, and she was the gentleman who owned the place's wife. They both died. They lived there for, over 20 years in the actual hotel itself. And I think that I could be wrong. I mean, there's so many people, and apparently a lot of affluent people were there, and there was a company, some kind of company Christmas party. It was like an airlines hosting, an event, and people stayed at the hotel. But this was really more of this energy of her, like that territorial energy. And I guess she was, I think, 71 at the time, and her husband was considerably older. He passed away too, but I was able to pick up on that, and the residual energy, and the basement. Sometimes when the land is already alive with, all land is alive, but it's alive with elemental forces, and Native Americans have thought of it as, they have that, I look at their understanding of it, and when tragedy meets the land that is already tainted, not supposed to be lived on, sometimes that opens up portals, and that's what happened in the basement. It's a very creepy place. So anyway, that's just my little update. I've got a link in the description below from and it's an actual article that's a very reliable source, and you could read it for yourself and whatever, and it details the fire pretty well. If you're just simply interested in the history of it or the actual events, that really gives that to you. So anyway, I'll do more of these kinds of videos, and don't be afraid to let me know what do you want to see more of, or throw out some suggestions, and I'll see you guys later.